There's a story about Gnabry and the fact that Arsenal sold him for £5 million. Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday's Talking Reds in association with Tokyo Time. My name is Stewart and this is Rob Gutmann.
Hi.
Hello Rob, how are you feeling on this merry morn?
Confused a little bit, Mo. Confused if I'm honest with myself. Nil-nils are confusing results. Yeah, we all had a busy night last night. I was in the ground, you're a big family do. I think everyone was very tense and excited.
Yes.
And nil-nils left us feeling a little bit, what if?
What if is probably a good way to put it, because I mean, we were on here last week talking about a hopeful repeating of last year's exploits where we came flying out of the traps. And yet it wasn't that way. We were held to only our second 0-0 game of the season by a resolute but kind of toothless Bayern Munich. So you have to kind of put it into that context of what we were expecting and what we got. So if last year's Champions League run was a vodka Ribena, this was more like a spinach smoothie. Like, it might not be what you wanted.
What, genuinely sickening?
Sickening going down.
Oh, I see.
But it might actually be what you need in the long run.
I see.
See where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, Klopp himself said it wasn't a result we wanted, but it's a result that we can work with. And I think I have to agree with him on that. Are you sure?
Yeah, I didn't feel deflated coming out of the game. You know, I suppose by the time it gets to 10 to go, you prepare yourself for what the result's going to do to the rest of your life. And I sort of coming out of the ground, I was quite bullish about it. And I thought, is that just me? And then I saw Jurgen's interview and he was bullish about it. We can't kid ourselves, but then suddenly we've got the upper hand in the Tigers and we haven't. But it's okay. And I think what also makes it more bearable is I think we played pretty well, certainly in the first half.
I was going to ask you about our performance because it was kind of an almost but not quite. It reminded me of a lot of games we've played this season which we've won 1-0, but we just didn't get the one.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, I've watched it back again this morning, and I didn't realise quite how many near things we had first half. It's hard to call them a lot of clear-cut chances, but there are a lot of chances before chances, if you know what I mean. Although you look at some back like the Sadio Mane miss, where I assumed he was offside, and he's not offside.
I think he probably did as well.
Yeah, and there's one when Mo gets it, that he heads one wide at the back stick. I mean, I actually think you're back in the ground at the time. You can tell how close something is by the sort of feeling you get in your stomach. You go, you're almost choking on something. Yeah. That did happen to me about three times, which means I did think we were going to score.
Well, there was only two moments where the boys all flew off the sofa. That was one of them. The other one was when Robertson was through and it was deflected, and the camera angle for where we were looked like it was spinning in, but it was actually spinning wide. But those are the two big moments. But in terms of our attacking play, you could see we were getting to the edge. We were getting right up to the close, but we just didn't have that final point. And just by a strange quirk of fate, the two best chances in the game both fell to Joel Matip. And he's not exactly prolific if you look back at his records. So
there's the one where Firmino cuts it back.
Yeah, and the one in the first half, and then there's the one in the second half where he's on the edge of the box and it comes to him. They head it back, it comes to him, and he leans back and like spins it off for a corner or wherever it went. It was well, put it this way, it was one of those situations where when the ball was coming to him, he had the time to take a touch. He had the time to maybe set himself for a shot or maybe set himself for a pass to Wijnaldum inside. He didn't. He kind of got a little bit panicky and just sliced out. It was one of those situations where I don't even think his mum thought he was going to score that shot. And if you look at the reaction on the bench, I think most of them were just like, what are you doing?
He's a weird player, Joel, isn't he,
Yes.
quietly?
But if we pick it the other end of the pitch, yes, Bayern weren't as threatening as we thought we were going to be, but I felt like he defended when they did attack. He was there where he needed to be, positioning-wise, in the right place, cut out balls. He dealt with the physicality of Lewandowski well, which is something he's not done in the past. So I think overall he probably gets a plus point for me.
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at that defence as it was a makeshift defence in that Fabinho is not a centre-half.
No, he's not.
And he does really well.
He does as well.
And that is one of Europe's most vaunted attacks, you know, and albeit they weren't at their most ambitious because they wanted to not lose. You've still got Kingsley Coman and Gnabry and Lewandowski and James Rodriguez. You know, that's a fearsome attacking four. To not really, I think there's no shot on target from them. No. I think, in fact, their best effort is from Joel Matip as well. in the first half, one pings across from the right, doesn't it? Hits him when Matip slices at it, and Alisson makes a save he doesn't know about.
Yeah, amazing. But you're right. I think when you look at them on paper, and as well when you think about Gnabry and James in particular, were extremely motivated to go out and prove the point. Gnabry because he was only late into the side because Ribéry was up all night with the birth of his daughter on Sunday.
Yeah.
James because he's finally getting a chance to play where he wants to play, behind the striker now that Muller's out suspended.
Yeah.
Trying to impress his new Colombian manager, trying to impress Niko Kovac, who hasn't really trusted him in that position so far this season. So there was a real impetus, a real reason for them to go out. And this is the other thing as well that I wanted to mention. The fact that they seemed so happy to come and get a draw. A draw, I understand. Even blunting us, I understand. But to not even look for an away goal at a time when we're missing our best defender, do you think that was a little mistake by them?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly we were there for the taking, but at the end of the day, we're an expansive attacking football team. You know, if you've got attacking assets and you really want to get a goal, you can go at us. I mean, PSG eventually woke up and went at us and scored. And as you said, without Virgil van Dijk, it can never be the same side. It's never the same defensive side. So maybe they've missed an opportunity. I don't know. I think it just is the fact that they're pleased with that is a sign of how fearful they were beforehand. I think they genuinely thought they'd probably seen what happened to Roma, what we've done to City, what we can do to teams. I mean, remember we did it to Hoffenheim, who were decent last year, just tore them. They could have been feared being absolutely torn apart in the first half. And actually, you know, you watch it back, they very nearly were. I wonder what happens if Liverpool get the first goal, because I don't think Bayern could settle at a 1-0 defeat at Anfield.
No.
I think then they'd have had to come out, and then I think there's a chance that we could have really thrashed them.
And the game that we expected would have probably broken out at that point.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
No, it's a very good point, actually. And it's strange, though, because you look at the statistics, and I think it's something like 10 out of 30 times the team who draws 0-0 at home goes through. So it's not...
10 out of 30.
10 out of 30.
3, yeah.
So by that rationale, they do have the advantage. They are going into the game thinking, we're on our home pitch, we need to win, we can win. Similar to how we were thinking going into the Napoli game, the last group game. But
in 10 out of 30 times that teams get a 0-0 draw away, it's the better team. We are still a better team than Bayern Munich. I see Bayern Munich a very good team. I think we're a better team. The bookies can't divide us for the tie now. It's utterly 50-50. It's on a knife edge from their point of view.
No, and I think when you have this kind of result, it makes it even more interesting because, like you say, both teams go away with something to hold. We've got the no away goal, they've got the no advantage. So both teams would be going into it thinking that we can press home our advantage now. But there's going to be a little bit of how much do they want to attack, because when they attack, it kind of gives us the impetus to get in behind them. Do you think it's going to be a more open game in the Allianz, or do you expect it to still be quite tight and chessy? And chessy is a word, by the way.
Chessy?
Chess-like, whatever.
Yeah, chessoid. I feel it should be more open, but you never know. You said hedging every bet. Sometimes you've got to think about it. What level are Bayern? I mean, they're obviously this awesome name, but they're not fantastic anymore. Are they Arsenal plus? And if we were going to the Emirates next week, we go, well, we expect to win at the Emirates. It could be tough. They could hold us to a draw. Yes, they could win, but we expect to be the favourites. I sort of, even though the bookies can't divide us, Bayern are evens to win on their own ground. I sort of fancy us to win there.
Well, to be honest, we're kind of owed a performance away from home in the Champions League this season by this team, as much as they can owe us anything for what they've done this season, because we haven't seen one. We've seen quite a few poor performances. So maybe Bayern were taking that into account when they were trying to nullify us at home. But
only our last half in PSG is the only good performance we put in, isn't it, really? Yeah.
So that definitely needs to change. Do you see any changes, I mean, injuries notwithstanding, within the lineup for the away game? Do you think a different strategy through the lineup, maybe looking at bringing in someone else like a Shaqiri or a Milner, changing up a bit? Or are you happy with what you saw, that there's 11 can go again and get the result? Well, Van Dijk, obviously.
Klopp knows that we're not behind in the tie, and what you have, you hold. So I don't expect him to go for a mad 4-2-3-1 for attackers. I just don't see that. I mean, as you said, notwithstanding injuries, we'll have played just Burnley at home just before, possibly, I think. And if he's rotating for freshness' sake, I think that's a game he's likelier to rotate. And I think you can see a Shaqiri starting in that game. True. I see a very similar line. Well, you'd hope everyone stays fit, and you'd hope Van Dijk would he would step back in. But then the question would be, who does Fabinho move forward in place of? Is it Jordan, or does he go for a more solid formation with Fabinho, Jordan, and Gini Wijnaldum again? I see no signs of him dropping Keita at the moment.
No, and we can see why based on what we're seeing on the pitch.
Playing well.
So let's hope that continues. I'm going to be at the away leg. I'm going to Germany. It's my first European away ever, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I know, right?
Get your card.
Yeah. So you better do the job, Reds. But no, I'm confident that we will do the job.
I'm not going, and I'm not going to watch it in my boozer, which always ends up in defeat for Liverpool. I've got to find a new boozer to watch in. My jinxed boozer cannot be trusted.
Okay, so there you go. There's the urgent appeal to the people of Liverpool. Find Rob somewhere to watch the second leg where he won't jinx the game and we can all enjoy it.
Maybe a pub you don't like, you'd like to see it have bad vibes attached to it. I'll go to that place.
He's a good guest. You wouldn't necessarily end up with a load of broken crockery at the end.
No. Anyway, moving on.
Moving swiftly on. Let's talk a little bit about our favourite friends, our friends at Tokyo Time.
Tokyo Time are partnering us throughout this season, sponsoring Talking Reds, and we're delighted they are doing so. They are a premium headwear company based here in Liverpool but represented throughout the world. Here's a really cool video that made the shows a little bit more about what they're about. They're supporting us this season, so make sure you support them.
Perfect.
TT boys there. So, okay, this is the first game with this crunch run that we've all been looking forward to. As I said earlier, it wasn't necessarily a result we wanted, but it wasn't necessarily a dent in the confidence either. So, looking ahead to Sunday, there's nothing else in the way now. We can all start talking about Manchester United. How does this game affect how you're feeling ahead of that one?
I think it makes me feel a little bit better about it on the better, not better-ometer.
Okay.
Because I think we did ourselves justice. I mean, I think if Man U are watching it, they're going, yeah, Liverpool are good, because we know Bayern Munich are good, Liverpool look good. I would hope, I don't know, we'll wait to see what reactions are through the day. I would hope the neutral came away going, Liverpool are a bit better than Bayern Munich. Not massively so, but better enough. And therefore,
unfortunately, I suspect they won't, but
well, maybe in Europe more. I'm not talking about in this country where, yeah, whatever.
Exactly.
But I feel slightly better about it, yeah. I'm quietly optimistic about Old Trafford, and I don't think this causes a problem. Yes, it would have been nice to win, but United faced a similar test and didn't pass it.
That is true. I mean, United will have gained some confidence from the fact that they were able to get the Chelsea monkey off their back. They haven't won there in a long time. They've gone out of them for, I think it's 4 times in a row in the Cup. So they'll gain some confidence from that. I also suspect that Martial and Lingard will be at least back for the bench. So that will give them a little bit more boost impetus-wise. But I'm like you. I think that last night wasn't the result we wanted, but there was enough in the performance to make me think that we can go to Man United and get a result. I do think that this team is strong enough. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be 2 teams who both believing that they're good enough to beat the other, and those are the best kind of games.
Yeah. This is not going to be a cagey affair. They've thrown off their Mourinho shackles. Although I still think it means I still think the know-how he gave them will help them if they gain a lead, and we have to be careful. It's an important game that we don't let them get the first goal in.
Well, I think as much as we've kind of looked around, and there may be a slightly patronising tone of what they're doing with Solskjaer, I think he has proved himself to be, or he or whoever he's talking to, has proved themselves to be quite tactically astute. So I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a game plan that we maybe weren't anticipating beforehand. But again, I think that as long as our good players are in good form, I'm thinking Firmino will probably need to play better than he did yesterday. Outside of that, I think that we can go into that game, we can come out and get a result. The last few times that we've gone there and got a result was the times when we were challenging for the title. So we have to be that good to win at Old Trafford, and this year we are that good.
Yeah, title-winning teams win games at Old Trafford. I think that's what we have to do.
Yeah. So there's going to be plenty more build-up to the United game over the next week. You know there is. Speaking of other shows we've got coming out, obviously last night there was the 2 main reaction shows. There was the post-match pint, the video one, and the Pink, which comes out on our audio subscription service.
Tour Player, it's called, Mo. It's £5 a month, about 17p a show. It represents quite the bargain.
Fantastic. Bing. And the show's coming out today. We have the review, which will be recorded in that room over there imminently. I'm going to be involved with the second look, which isn't coming out today, but will be coming out at some point. And we've got an extra special treat for you. It's a free podcast coming out, speaking to Mike Kearney, who, those of you who may remember, he was the blind fan who went viral when his cousin Stephen was describing the goal against Napoli in the stands, and then he went into Melwood and got to meet all the players and stuff, and it was a genuinely heartwarming moment.
Yeah, it's a good video of him meeting Mo Salah.
Yes, it's a fantastic video.
Gone viral, that one, yeah.
And we spoke to him exclusively about his experiences following the Reds, and so that's going to be coming out today, and it's well worth some of your time. So yeah, the result wasn't what we wanted. We're not still hungover in the streets. Hello, Fuad. But we're still happy. We still think we can get the job done. We're still Liverpool. Love the Reds.